tried to tell Hieronymous as much as I could about what I had learned and about what I had done, but I wasn't able to put it into the technical terms that he asked of me, and I wasn't sure how to explain what I had done in clearer terms. I had mostly been taking my direction from the Blazings and from Melodia's counsel. Hieronymous was concerned that they were only using me to further their own interests, but if they were, that was honestly fine by me. It was easier to just go where they told me to go, say what they wanted me to say, and then head home so I could be there when Hieronymous inevitably woke up. But I didn't want to talk about work, and Hieronymous did not want to push me, and so we spent the rest of the day wrapped up in each other. Hieronymous seemed cautious around me, like he wasn't sure I wasn't going to turn around and push him away at a moment's notice, and so I tried my best to be extra affectionate with him, making sure he knew that I was slowly starting to warm up to him again. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and Hieronymous quickly covers us both with a blanket. Fortunately, we had just been cuddling in bed together. Otherwise, I probably would have just shouted for whoever it was to come back later. "If it's important, you may come in," I shout through the door. "Otherwise, Lord Grabiner and I need some alone time." Marriott cracks the door but does not look inside, probably sensing that we were indecent underneath the covers. "Melodia and Beige are here to see the both of you. Shall I tell them to come back later?" "No way!" I exclaim excitedly. "Tell them that we'll be there in a minute, and make sure they're comfortable. Bring some Linzer tarts out for Beige. You know he loves them." "Of course," Marriott says as she shuts the door, and I quickly spring out of bed as I begin to get dressed. "Someone seems excited," Hieronymous says from the bed. I don't notice his expression until I turn back to face him. He seems grumpy, his face resting in a scowl as he crosses his arms over his chest. "I haven't heard from Beige since I told him you woke up," I reply. "He and Melodia are here to make sure you're okay, and Melodia can probably explain to you what she's been asking me to do much more clearly than I can." Hieronymous seems to acknowledge this as he pulls himself to his feet with a sigh. "What's wrong?" I ask him. "Are you not feeling well? If you're not up for seeing them, I can ask Marriott to tell them to come back later." "You know how far they had to travel in order to get here," Hieronymous reminds me, "and you know how unpleasant the trip can be." I pause for a moment. I'm already dressed, but Hieronymous just moves around the room slowly, taking his time getting dressed. I decide not to push him, considering he seemed to still struggle with his muscle strength. "So you think it's rude for them to just show up without an invitation?" I ask, and Hieronymous nods. "That's probably my fault, then. I told them that they could drop by whenever. They know that, unless I had to go to Shetlock, I was mostly here with you, and I needed the company." Hieronymous says nothing as he continues getting dressed, and I can't help but frown as I try to figure out why he seems upset. "Is it because of Beige?" I ask. "Are you jealous?" "You seem to be getting awfully close to the woman who once told you that she would like you to marry her son," he observes. "And considering how excited you were to hear that Beige arrived." "Because Beige is like a brother to me," I remind him. "He's my friend, and you can think that they were using me for something if you want, but I really do think that they were trying to take care of me in their own way. I'm excited for them to see that you're back on your feet again." "Very well," Hieronymous says with a sigh as he stands up, and I can't help but bound over to him as I wrap my arms around his neck and I kiss him deeply. He returns it, and he does not pull away until I start to roll my hips against his. "I don't think now is the right time, Tori," Hieronymous warns. "Besides, we've been at it all day." "And yet, I still want you," I remind him as I rub my nose against his. "See, you don't need to be jealous. I want you and only you, just like always." "Yes, well..." Hieronymous shrugs uncomfortably as he takes my hand and leads us out into the hall. Even still, I can't help but wrap both of my arms around one of his as I rest my head against his shoulder as we walk. I know Hieronymous still didn't feel too secure about walking, and I was hoping that, this way, he could lean against me for the extra support if he felt he needed it. That, and I still wanted to cuddle up beside him as much as I could. As soon as we step inside the room, however, I let go of his arm as I spot Beige and Melodia inside. Beige! I rush over to him and wrap my arms around him, and he does the same to me. Tori, he says brightly, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you looking happy. I am happy, I reply with a bright smile. Hieronymous is back. He's awake. He's okay. I just look back towards Hieronymous, who nods in greeting. Lord Grabiner, Beige says with a slight bow, how are you faring? I am pleased to hear that you have recovered from the effects of the golden syrup. I am doing well, thank you. His eyes drift over to Melodia, who has come over to greet me. Tori, she says gently, let me get a look at you. Okay, I say brightly, but I feel like a tea kettle about to bubble over. Hieronymous is awake now. He woke up on his own, just as you said he might. It was a little rough at first, but he seems to be in a much better state than he was in before, and he wants to know all about the viscounting duties you had me attend to while he was out of it. That will have to wait, she replies smoothly as she brushes back my hair with motherly affection. We have bigger concerns to deal with at the moment. Bigger concerns? I ask blankly. I turn around to face Beige, but even he looks surprised. I thought we were just seeing how Lord Grabiner was doing now that he has woken up, Beige says slowly. What bigger concerns are there? Look at her, Beige. Melodia turns me around by the shoulders and holds me in place so that Beige can see me. Feel her energy. What do you see? What do you notice? I'm happy, I offer, but Melodia just shakes her head. Oh, I think I see, Beige starts, but Hieronymous takes a few quick steps towards me as he steadies himself on a nearby chair. Enough of this, he snaps. Release her. He holds out his hand for me, and I quickly take it as he pulls me into his side. What's going on? I ask nervously as I glance between them. Melodia's face is stern, but Beige just looks concerned. What's happened? Why is my energy different? What's wrong with me? If you don't tell her, then I will, Melodia warns, and I hesitate as I look up at Hieronymous. What's she mean? I ask him slowly. What's she talking about? I think it's best you wait in the room for me, Hieronymous says softly, not meeting my eyes. Why? I hesitate as I look back to Melodia and Beige. What is going on? Lord Grabiner has cast a spell on you, Beige tells me. An endearment charm, I think. An endearment charm? I ask as I whirl around to stare at Hieronymous. Did you really cast a spell on me? What did you do to me? It seems he has used multiple spells on you to try to produce the desired effect, Melodia explains. It seems he has attempted to use any spell that would induce feelings of fondness and intimacy towards him. But why? I ask, more heartbroken than angry at the moment. I wasn't coming to terms with this fast enough for your liking, so you decided to use affection spells to try to make me more compliant? Tori, he begins as he shakes his head, but he seems to think better of whatever he's about to say as he turns to address Melodia. Is this why you came? To stir up trouble in my household? Tori is young, impressionable, and exceedingly gifted, Melodia continues. I have a vested interest in making sure her gifts are fostered, that her potential is realized, and that she is protected. And you think she needs protection from me? Hieronymous scoffs. I have known her far longer than you have, and I have done more to foster her education than most. You have used her for your own ends when it was most convenient to you, Melodia counters. Don't think I don't know about your memory experiments, Hieronymous. There is nothing you can hide from me. Hieronymous whirls around to face me, his face contorting with rage. You told her about that? I just shake my head back and forth quickly. No, I didn't. She didn't need to, Melodia replies. You seem to forget that I have unique gifts too, Hieronymous. Although, what did you call me when we talked last privately? A charlatan? A mountebank, Hieronymous corrects her. You may not carry a crook, but I won't let Tori become one of your sheep. If I was as duplicitous as you claim, do you think I would have come to Tori's aid or sent in my men to rescue you? She continues. For a man who claims to reject the past, you certainly seem fond of picking open closed wounds. You piqued my father's curiosity, but not even he submitted to your fantastical notions, Hieronymous counters. Sometimes an accurate prediction is just that, a prediction and nothing more. Okay, can we all take 5 minutes here? I ask as I step between them. There is some long-standing history between you two that I don't know about, but I want to know. I want to know what gifts I'm supposed to have and what kind of potential I can expect in my future. You're both talking over my head, and it's time you both started talking to me. Directly. Tori, you are still young yet, and there are still things that you need not concern yourself with, Hieronymous says gently. I am looking out for your best interests. Trust me. Your connection to the old magic means that you have gifts that other witches and wizards do not, Melodia explains. You can develop the gift of sight and develop limited precognition. You can become a telepathist and unlock the secrets hidden in the minds of others. I believe your skills of empathy and sensing the motives and intentions of others is something that you are already working to develop on your own. Okay, I say slowly. But why do you want me to develop that power? How does that benefit you in any way? Can my motives not be altruistic? Melodia asks, and I just fold my arms over my chest. You both just keep saying modified versions of trust me because I say so, and I have gone along with it so far because I didn't have any better options. But I think you're both using me, and I think it's about time I act like an adult and stop letting you act like you have my best interests in mind when I don't think either of you knows what they are. With that, I turn and stride out of the room.